everyone. My name is Sarah Ritt. I'm an artist and a tarot reader, and this is the collective reading for this weekend. So today, tomorrow, Sunday, and possibly beyond, because time gets a little murky. Okay, so what I'm seeing so far is we're kind of caught between rest and maybe a little bit of struggling to get things done, which is interesting. Yeah, we're right in between. I'm doing something a little bit different this time, and I'm just letting the cards fall where they may. So we've got this card. This is rest. And incidentally, it's also swords. Almost all of these are swords. So we're up here because swords are air, and air speaks to our intellect. So yeah, it's a little bit slanted because that's kind of just how it fell, right? So it's slanted, and it is next to this guy, Knight of Swords reversed. And so I do feel like there's a bit of a struggle. It's kind of like the slant just kind of tells me we're on the fence, you know? These are, it's a little bit between, right? So that's going on. So work, rest, pushing, hanging back, all of that, which incidentally feels very much like what I've been going through this past week as well. So then we have this guy. So Five of Swords, this is that turning point energy. It says, I'm about to make a decision, you know. It's also a little slanted. So it's kind of like, it almost feels like we're trying on these different energies and seeing what fits. And then the moon is overlapping that. And so here we have water instead of air because moon rules Cancer, which is a water sign. So this is a trusting energy. This is an energy that goes deeper. Air rises, water goes deeper. Water is intuitive, and so what that tells me is we're at very least in the right place to lean in one direction or the other because we are open enough to what we know intuitively to be right. So yeah, so that's going on. Yeah, and overlapping those two, we have a little bit of fire. So with Page of Rods, fire speaks to newness and adventure, and here it just feels like we're getting ready to take a new direction yet again. So yeah, so again, as we've been kind of trying on these energies, you know, should we work a little harder? Should we hang back? Should we take some rest? You know, maybe we've tried on both. We've tried both options. We're at a new enough place where we can maybe break free of that and like get a fresh start, you know? So yeah, and I think also when we're up in our heads, it feels as if there's only two options, right? Rest, work, rest, work. But this says there's at least three, if not a trillion more, that are more exciting or more life-giving or more adventurous, you know? So this feels like we're taking a completely different option that works a lot better. And again, we're doing it intuitively because the moon speaks to that intuitive way forward. That's different from just being up in our heads and trying to run everything from here. this is kind of like, all right, let's listen to the gut, and let's let that inform things in a fuller way, maybe in a more holistic way. So, yeah, so good for us for getting at least a little bit out of our head and recognizing that there's more from life to be explored and enjoyed going forward. And yeah, as this plays out in real time, it may be that we vacillate from being in our head to letting our body's intuition guide us, going back and forth. It may be, and I do feel like that's where time gets tricky, Time is not nearly as linear as we measure it to be. And yeah, so again, it may be that some of us are still deliberating over which direction to go, and we're a little bit more here before we can get to here, if that makes sense, and maybe some of us are already in the process of leaning toward this new direction. And all of that is fine, all of it is part of our oh so human experience on this planet. Yeah, I'm also just getting that some of us may be trying to please other people a little bit, because this energy is actually overlapping this energy here. Here again we have water, but King of Cups is actually water and air as well, because kings speak to air. And there's a balance there. There is a pleasant demeanor there. There's kind of a diplomat there, right? And so I'm just getting that vibe that it is kind of possible to block ourselves by way of holding off on this new direction in order to appear a little bit more even-keeled, or it may be about placating someone else. It may be that fear of like, well, how are we going to look to the people around us if we, I don't know, if we lose our cool, or if we really go after something that we're passionate about, as opposed to, feeling, as opposed to keeping that more even demeanor. I'm just kind of getting that feeling. So I do feel like there's great importance in letting ourselves go where we truly want to go. Just letting new decisions open up, letting ourselves be satisfied by life kind of more on our own terms, as opposed to trying to please other people and kind of covering that up. That's what I'm getting, because this card is kind of directly on top of this. Yeah, so this is going to make for a very interesting photo, and I may just try to uncover a little bit so that you see all of the cards in the final photo at the end of this video. But yeah, to recap, there's been some deliberation, or there may be some deliberation, because this is a reading for this weekend. There may be a little bit of time where we're a little bit more up in our heads than is good for us, and we're trying to figure out whether we should rest or work hard on something, or try to make decisions around something, or try to push at something. I am getting that sense with Knight of Swords reversed, because he's very much about strategy in motion, and I kind of feel like, and it's very relatable to me, there is that feeling of trying a little bit too hard and not getting where we want to be, but feeling a little bit like, well, at least we've tried, at least we haven't just spent all our time resting, right? So yeah, so there may be some deliberation between rest and work, rest and trying, rest and pushing at something. And we will reach, if we haven't already, some kind of turning point where we let our intuition take the lead, and maybe even a third option opens up. And it's going to be really important to trust that third option, because that option is more adventurous, is more life-giving, is more satisfying on the whole than whatever we've been trying to work through up here. Because fire also has that intuitive quality. Fire and water both, and there's an organic quality to that. There's a natural and freeing quality to that intuitive energy. And so rather than let other people's opinions, or even what we might think other people's opinions are, dictate our actions, it's going to be extra important that we just really let that spark, that passion, that sense of what will be satisfying for us personally take the lead, as we explore that third option, as we enjoy our weekend, again, on our own terms, finding the things that make us happy and truly bring us joy. There's such an importance in that. No matter how it looks, So, once again, this feels like a bit of a twisty-turny message, but what I'm getting is that there will be a little time where we're up in our heads and we're trying to figure out whether to work, whether to play, whether to relax, whether to work hard at something, or just kind of push. And we'll reach a point where our intuition lets us know truly what direction we want to go in. And that, I do feel like that will be completely different than those two options we're limiting ourselves to from this headspace. It'll be that intuitive knowing that allows us to take the lead. And it may be tempting to stay in our head. It may be tempting to try to conform to other people's idea of what we should do, or how we should look doing that thing that we should do. And it's going to be extra important not to give in to that. So not to give into that externally, and also not to give into that internally, for fear of how we might be seen. It's going to be really important that we allow ourselves to do our own thing, whatever that is, could be several things. I feel like it's going to be creative, it's going to be expressive, it's going to be joyful, because that is the inherent energy of fire, fire at its brightest and most expansive and evolved and free. I do feel like that is the essence of the fire element. So, I hope that you got what you needed from this reading. I hope that it was satisfying. I hope that you could follow it. I do know it was a bit twisty-turny, definitely for me. The cards are oriented in a twisty-turny way as well. And I also just hope that you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you decide to do, however that looks for each and every one of you. If you like this video, if you like this reading, please hit the like button. If you would like to see more of these and you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And if you're interested in supporting me and supporting this channel from a monetary standpoint, please check out my Patreon. The link is down below. And I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.